Hey everyone, and today we're going to be doing a Pilates class for our abs and booty, and we will need a band, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and have a seat on our booty, and we're going to kind of bring our legs in to what we call in yoga as a deer pose. So 90-degree angle here and 90-degree angle here. We're going to bring this foot forward, maybe it's your left or your right, kind of hug that knee in towards the chest, sit up nice and tall. We're just going to lift that foot and kick it back behind us, and then bring it back to forward. We're just going to warm up the hips a little bit, warm up that booty, warm up that core, lift it up and back. Try to keep that foot off the floor. If you need a hand on the ground, you can take the hand on the ground. If you really want to use that core, you're going to keep that arm nice and lifted. Last 3. Keep that tummy in nice and tight for 2 and 1. Nice job. Let's take our band. We're going to go ahead and wrap it around our ankles. Now our bottom leg is going to be actually more like our shins. Our bottom leg is going to stay kind of bent, and our top leg is going to straighten. And we're going to just go ahead and take our hands on the ground. Maybe you come down onto your elbow, and we're going to lift and lower. Lift that top leg and lower down. Try to keep that foot parallel to the floor. That's going to help you get a little bit more into the booty and less into the quads. Nice job. Feel that resistance against the band. Find those deep breaths. Keep that belly pulled in nice and tight. You really want to feel this on that outer thigh. If you want to feel a little bit more in the booty, you're going to really drive that heel up towards the sky. Round that hip forward just a little bit for 3. Last 2 and 1. Let's go ahead, slip that off, and we're going to switch sides. So this time our other leg is going to come forward. This leg is going to stay bent. Sit up nice and tall. Lift the foot off the ground and rock it back and forth. Nice job. Keep that belly in nice and tight. Nice slow and controlled movements here. Hovering that foot above the ground, using those hip flexors, those deep core muscles, and of course that booty as we pull it back. Nice job. We're here for 3. Last 2. Last 1. Swing it all the way back and bring it forward. Let's go ahead, take our band and wrap it around those calves. Bottom leg is going to stay bent. Top leg is going to extend. We're lifting and lowering, feeling that outer thigh. Lift up and down. Just make sure that band is not on your knee joint. We don't want any pressure on that knee joint. Nice job. Feeling a little bit of tension on that bottom leg too as we use it to stabilize our body and pull against that band. Last 3. Last 2 and 1. Nice job. Let's go ahead, take that band off and come back into our starting position. So bottom leg stays bent, pull that knee in towards the chest, sit up nice and tall. This time we're going to slide it back and take a little pulse. Come all the way forward and back. A little pulse for that booty. Come all the way back up. Really feel that squeeze in that booty as you come all the way back. Nice job. Lift it up and pulse. And then we're going to stay back and pulse it out. Lift. Tiny little baby lifts. Try to keep that knee off the floor. You got this for 3. Last 2 and 1. Let's go ahead, take the band around our calves again. And we're going to go back into our lying leg lifts. So that top leg is going to straighten. That bottom leg will stay bent for our resistance. We're going to lift and lower. Think about rolling the hip forward a little bit more on this time. Drive up through that heel. Lift up and down. Up and away from the floor. You got it. Now, it doesn't have to be too big of a motion. As long as you feel that tension on the back of the thigh and that glute area, you got this. Last 3. Last 2 and 1. Come back to center. Let's switch it out. Booty's burning already. Okay, let's take that opposite leg forward. Sit up nice and tall. Sit it back, tiny pulse, and bring it forward. Lift it back, tiny pulse, bring it forward. Nice job. Maybe you even notice that this side might be a little harder than the opposite side. Every body is different. Every side of our body is different. Let's hold here and lift. Tiny little lifts away from the floor. You got it for 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Let's take that band around our bottom leg and slide our top leg through. Bottom leg stays bent. Hands on the floor for support. Roll that top hip forward a little bit and then drive through that heel as you lift up and down. Squeeze, slow and controlled motions. Try to really feel that squeeze at the top of your motion instead of just using the band to kind of fling your leg up and down. We really want to hold the top and down. You got this. For 3, last 2, and 1. Nice job. Let's go ahead, slide that up our leg. So we're going to come onto our back. And we're going to go ahead and take the band either above the knee or below the knee. I'm going to go with above the knee. We just want to make sure that it's not on that knee joint area, nor will it slide down to that knee joint area. Okay, so from here, we're going to bring our knees parallel, or our shins parallel to the floor, knees stacked on top of the hips. We're going to bring the legs out and back together. Now use your core here to drive that belly down towards the floor. As you move just your legs, knees stay stacked over the hips. That's going to help engage that core. You want your whole lower back to be driven down into the mat. That's going to really help engage that deep core muscles, making sure that everything stays nice and still here. Breathing, squeezing that booty as you reach out. Squeeze and in for 3. Last 2. And 1. Awesome job. We're going to take the band and bring it all the way to our feet. Now this next one's a little tricky. I'm going to have you guys come into a plow pose in yoga, but if this is too hard for your shoulder or your back, then you're just going to have your legs out straight, and I'll kind of show you both ways. So the first way we're going to do it is we're going to stack the hips on top of the shoulders, take the hands on the low back for support. We're going to drive one foot down and reach the other foot up towards the sky. Now, if your back is like, no way, not doing that, you're going to take your hands underneath your seat and you're going to just kind of extend your legs out in front of you like this. Either way is totally cool, and we're going to be working that core. So take your variation that you'd like, and we're going to start. Pull that hold and lift up and switch it out. Nice job. Using the hip flexors here, using the core. You got this. Pull it down and up. No pain in the head, neck, or shoulders. This is all coming from our lower and body and core. You got this. Breathing here for 3. Last 2. 1 more each side. And let's lower all the way down. We're going to go ahead and take the band around our ankles. And we're going to come into a plank. So you can have your hands in a number 11, or you can interlace your fingers. We're going to come onto our toes. We're going to roll onto our left foot. Keep both hands on the ground. We're going to lift up. Tiny kicks through that top leg. Engage that booty. Nice job. For 3. Last 2. And 1. We're going to rock it onto the other side. Roll it over to that opposite foot. And we're lifting and lower. You got this. Tiny little movements here, nothing too crazy. For 3, last 2, and 1. Let's make our way back onto our back. This time we're going to keep that band around our ankles. We're going to come back into our crunches here, but are going to pull our belly towards the spine, and we're going to lift the legs out and together. Working that booty here, out and together. Nice job. Squeeze the legs, squeeze that booty as you bring it out. Nice, slow and controlled back in towards center. Don't let that band do the work for you. Where's your belly? Is it pulled in nice and tight? Using for core stability here. Last 3, last 2, and 1. Beautiful. Okay, let's take that band around our feet. Now, for those of you who did it through the plow, we're going to do it the opposite way. We're going to extend the legs out nice and long, and then switch it out. Nice. Now try to make sure that that resistance stays on that band so that you don't lose your footing here. And you're using your core to drive that knee in towards the belly. Nice job. Use your exhale to really pull the knee in here. Nice work. We're using a little bit more of our core. You got this. Last 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's go ahead, take the band around our ankles and come back into our plank position. All right, now, Same thing here. We're going to roll onto that left leg and we're going to lift that heel up towards the sky. Tiny baby lifts, and then hold at the top. Squeeze that leg up towards the sky, squeeze that oblique, and then we're gonna take that right arm and lift it up nice and high. Squeeze that band in between the ankles. Make sure you have that resistance, and then let's lower down, switch it out. We're gonna roll onto that right side, both elbows stay down, tiny lifts, and then hold, 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 hold. Roll onto that right side, lift that left arm nice and high, find that resistance in the band. And then let's come back down into our plank position, and we're gonna make our way onto our back. Okay, now we're gonna take the band and we're gonna bring it above our knees, roll all the way down onto your back. The closer your heels are to the glutes, the better. Hands down by the sides. We're gonna lift the hips up and then bring the knees out. Lower back down and lift up, squeeze and lower. Really squeeze that booty as you come up and down. Nice job. Lift and lower. Take a little breather as you lower all the way back down. Lift up and lower. You got this. Last 3. Last 2. And 1. Awesome. We're going to take the band around our ankles. Now, the trick for this one is we want to maintain that resistance. So you want to make sure that you don't have any slack on that band. Your legs are continually pulling outward. Hands underneath the sacrum. If you need some support for your low back, we're going to lower the legs down and lift them back up. Lower and lift. Nice job. Using your core, drive the legs up towards the sky, keeping that resistance on that band. That's going to help your booty stay activated throughout all of this. Nice job. Lifting up and down. You got this. Keep that belly in nice and tight. Low back stays down towards the floor. For 3. Last 2. Last 1, make it count all the way down, all the way up. Beautiful. Let's take our bands around our feet, kind of like we did earlier. We're going to do that exact same thing, but this time we're going to make it a little bit more challenging. Isn't that exciting? Take the hands behind the head, interlace the fingers, rise the chest off the floor, pull that band back, and we're going to do bicycle crunches. Pulling one knee in towards the elbow and switching it out. Nice job. Find that breath. Find that resistance, working through this nice and slow and controlled. Beautiful. Keep it moving. Feel that core starting to tire out. You got it for 3. Last 2 and 1. Nice job. Let's go ahead and keep that band around our toes, or our feet, I should say. And we're going to come into a push-up position. Coming in for mountain climbers. Same thing we just did, but this time we're doing it face down, pulling that knee in towards the belly. Keep that resistance on the band by keeping your feet a certain distance apart from each other. Draw that knee in towards the chest. You got this. Breath here, using it to guide you through. For 3. Last 2. 1 more each side. Pull it in, and let's make our way back down onto our back. Let's bring the band above the knees. Roll all the way back down. We're going to lift up this time. We're just going to hold here. Keep the hips nice and lifted. We're going to do tiny pulses out towards the side. Squeeze that booty. Keep those hips lifted. Make sure there's a straight line here. I'm not dipping those hips down, keeping them nice and lifted. That's going to activate that booty. Squeezing out and together. You got this, guys. We're almost done. We are almost there. You got this. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Let's hold it out. Hold it out there. Lift that booty up nice and high. And then lower all the way down. Awesome job. Let's take the band around our ankles once again. And this time we're just going to keep the legs up towards the sky. And we're just going to lift the hips up, reaching the legs up. It's okay if you want to take the hands underneath that low back here as well. And you want to make sure that you keep that resistance on the band by squeezing the legs outward. That's going to help engage that booty and engage a little bit more of our core. You got this. Lift up and lower. Breathe here. Last 5. Pull that belly in every time you lift the legs up for 2 and 1. Nice work. Let's take the band around our feet as we come back into our bicycle crunches. We're going to go ahead, lift the chest and shoulders away from the floor. Left elbow towards the right knee and then switch it out. Slow and controlled movements here. Using a pull factor on our core is not something we do very often in exercise, so this resistance is really helping to tone that belly and get deep into the core muscles. You got this. Pull that knee in nice and tight. You got it. Switching it out. We got 1 more exercise after this, guys. You're doing great. Last 3. Last 2. 1 more each side. And let's go ahead and switch it on over down to our belly. Take the band around your feet like we have been. Hands underneath the shoulders. Come up onto those toes. We're going to drive that knee in towards the chest. Drive it in using that resistance of the band. You got this. Hug it in and out. Beautiful. We're only here for a few more, guys, and then we are done for the day. You got this. Last 3, each side. Keep that resistance on the band for the last 1, each side. And lower. Awesome. Let's go ahead, extend the legs out nice and long. Stretch out that core. Take whatever stretches you need. Make sure you stay hydrated. Awesome job. I'll see you next time.